Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The ceremony will begin in 5 minutes. Please be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin momentarily. Please take your seats at this time and silence your electronic devices. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome to historic Fort Sam Houston, MacArthur Parade Field, and to the United States Army Medical Command's Assumption of Command ceremony. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is the 35th Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army, General Daniel B. Allen. Today, we witness the assumption of command of the 44th Army Surgeon General and Commanding General of the United States Army Medical Command, Lieutenant General Nadja Y. West. We are joined today by many distinguished guests, visitors, and friends. Among them are Lieutenant General West's husband, Colonel Retired Don West, her daughter, Ms. Sydney West, and her son, Cadet Logan West, West Point class of 2019. Lieutenant General Perry Wiggins, Commander, United States Army North, 5th Army, and Senior Commander, Fort Sam Houston in Camp Bullis. His wife, Mrs. Annette Wiggins, and his Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Ronald Oros. Vice Admiral Raquel Bono, Director, Defense Health Agency. Lieutenant General Retired Quinn Becker, the 36th Army Surgeon General. Lieutenant General Retired Frank Ledford, the 37th Army Surgeon General. Mr. Trey Clayberg, Civilian Aide to the Secretary of the Army. Command Sergeant Major Retired Edward E. O'Boyle, the 4th Health Services Command, Command Sergeant Major. Command Sergeant Major Retired Frederick Clayton, the 9th Health Services Command and Army Medical Command, Command Sergeant Major. Command Sergeant Major Retired Sandra Townsend, the 14th Army Medical Command, Command Sergeant Major. Our distinguished Fort Sam Houston quartermasters in attendance today are Mr. Klaus Haida, Miss Barbara Banker, and Mr. Douglas Dupre. And also Mr. Richard Perez, President and CEO of the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. Please stand for the invocation given by the Medical Command's chaplain, Chaplain Peter Brzezinski.
Let us pray. Lord God, we thank you for your servant, Lieutenant General West, who has answered your call to lead us as our Surgeon General and Commanding General for Medcom. We humbly ask that you would give her wisdom and guide her steps, seeing that she is entrusted with a great responsibility and privilege for the readiness, healthcare delivery, and force development that directly touches every service member, family member, DA civilian, and retiree. We recognize as we face an unknown future that indeed our trust must be in you, our Maker, to lead us in this vital mission as we support the readiness of the warfighter and all those entrusted to us for physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. We ask you to bless this petition and thank you for hearing our prayer, for we ask it in your name. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the reviewing stand as Sergeant First Class Christopher Ladick, the AMED Center and School Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year, and Sergeant Samantha Allard, the AMED Center and School Soldier of the Year, present gifts to Lieutenant General West's family. Her husband, Mr. Don West, her daughter, Sydney, and her son, Logan, are each being presented a special gift. The formation of troops on the field represents the soldiers assigned to the United States Army Medical Command and the 323rd Army Band. The units participating in today's ceremony are, from left to right, the 323rd Army Band, Fort Sam Zone, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, United States Army Medical Command, Regional Health Command Atlantic, Provisional, Regional Health Command Central, Provisional, Regional Health Command Europe, Provisional, the Medcom Color Guard. Soldiers representing the Color Guard for today's ceremony are from the Army Medical Department Center and School, Regional Health Command Pacific, Provisional, U.S. Army Medical Research and Materiel Command, the U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School, U.S. Army Health Readiness Center of Excellence, and the Warrior Transition Command. Today's honor battery is made up of soldiers from Headquarters Battalion, U.S. Army North, and the AMED Center and School. The commander of troops is Colonel Clinton W. Schreckheis, Deputy Chief of Staff, United States Army Medical Command. The United States Army Medical Command Command Sergeant Major is Command Sergeant Major Gerald C. Ecker. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation, where the adjutant will begin the ceremony with the command of sound attention. The history of the review can be traced to the Middle Ages, when rulers, as a way of showing their strength, were likely to have military ceremonies. In the American Army, reviews were originally outlined in Baron Friedrich von Steuben's Blue Book and practiced by revolutionary soldiers. A review consisted of 4 stages: a formation of troops, presentation and honors, inspection, and a march in review. Today's reviews have incorporated 3 additional stages: honors to the nation, remarks, and a conclusion. The presence of the colors at the center of the formation represents their presence at the forefront of the unit during the heat of battle. The presence of the band represents the significant role that the drum, fife, and other musical instruments have played throughout military history for signaling in camp or on the battlefield. The march of the band across the front of the line is said to have originated with the Crusades. The troops offering themselves for service were drawn up in a long formation, and the band countermarched only before those chosen to serve. The 3 chords played before and after the march are symbolic of the 3 cheers from the crowds that gathered to farewell the departing warriors. Today, the 323rd Army Band, Fort Sam Zone, troops the line of the Medical Command units. At this time, the Commander of Troops, Colonel Clinton W. Schreckheis, and the U.S. Army Medical Command primary staff are taking their positions. Marching as the Medcom staff today are the Medcom G1, Colonel Linda R. Carmen, the Medcom G3, Colonel Heather A. Kness, the Medcom G4, Colonel Tony R. Nesbitt, and the Medcom G6, Colonel Beverly A. Beavers. The bugler for today's ceremony is Staff Sergeant James Walker.
Sound! Order! Arms!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the rendering of honors. General Allen has deferred honors to Lieutenant General West.
Sound! Present arms! Sound! Present arms!
Please be seated.
Sound! Honor arms and parade route!
The Army inspection procedures date from the arrival of Prussian Army officer Baron von Steuben at Valley Forge in February of 1778. His strict discipline and innate self-confidence instilled a new self-respect in General George Washington's beleaguered troops. Lieutenant General West will now inspect her command for the first time, looking at each soldier personally to ensure their fitness and combat readiness prior to assuming her command. In August 1993, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff approved a plan to reorganize the AMED. The heart of the plan was to merge several medical elements into a new expanded Medical Major Command under the Surgeon General to be more responsive to the Army. In October 1993, the U.S. Army Medical Command Provisional began a one-year process of replacing Health Services Command and absorbing other Army Medical Department elements. Hospitals and clinics, dental care, veterinary care, medical research and logistics, and medical training all came together bit by bit in a new command under the same soldier who was the Surgeon General, unifying the leadership and management of Army medicine more than ever before. The Medcom became fully operational in October 1994. A bottom-up review in 2011 resulted in major reorganization of the headquarters structure and reorganization of the staff to better align with the Army staff structure and transition from an organization focused on healthcare to a system for health. The command is now transitioning from 5 regional medical commands to 4 multidisciplinary regional health commands, integrating medical, public health, dental, and warrior care under a single point of accountability from the strategic to the installation level in support of Army health readiness. This reorganization enhances Medcom's support of CONUS Corps and OCONUS Army Service Component Commands, while establishing an efficient and integrated mission command architecture to decrease variance across Army medicine and the medical command. Who is today's Medcom? We are a change organization of more than 75,000 active duty civilian and contract personnel, serving across 5 continents, providing healthcare and readiness support across the globe. We are medical, dental, research, education and training, public health, and so much more. Army Medicine manages 148 graduate medical education programs. Our nurse anesthetist graduate program is ranked number 1. The physical therapy graduate program is ranked number 5. Our Army Baylor Masters in Healthcare Administration program is ranked number 7. And the physician assistant program is ranked number 11 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. The first-time board pass rate for Army physicians at 95% tops the national average of 86%. And dental specialty board pass rates average greater than 90%. The Army Medical Department Center and School Health Readiness Center of Excellence is the world's largest medical training facility, graduating over 35,000 service members per year, with an average emergency medical technician certification pass rate of 95% for Army combat medics. The national average is 70%. We take care of nearly 4 million beneficiaries worldwide, with more than 11 million outpatient visits per year. The Medcom oversees $1.4 billion in research and development and promotes health and science diplomacy around the world. Over the last 4 years, Medcom has embarked on transformational changes that not only enhance the readiness of our total force, but have also been influential in changing the discourse about health and readiness both inside the Army and around the nation. In 2012, Medcom began to pivot from a reactive healthcare system to a proactive system for health. The system for health focuses on maintaining, restoring, and improving the health of our beneficiaries instead of focusing on treating illnesses, diseases, and injuries after they occur. The first initiative within the System for Health transformation was aimed at helping our soldiers, family members, retirees, and DA civilians make better choices in the life space. Providers see patients an average of only 100 of the 525,600 minutes in a year. Knowing this, Medcom sought to educate our beneficiaries and inculcate healthier sleep, activity, and nutrition choices made in their life space. Today, Medcom is working with ForceCom, TRADOC, and others to implement this performance triad in support of soldier and family readiness. We keep soldiers healthy for the fight and support them, their families, and our retirees, those men and women who set the standard for honorable service in their day. The officers, non-commissioned officers, and soldiers in formation before you represent the incredible and proud soldiers and civilians of the U.S. Army Medical Command that ensure the readiness of our Army and our nation. Our motto, Experiencia et Progressus, or Experience and Progress, links our past to the future. We are an Army Medical Department grounded in centuries of medical experience passed down to successive generations, providing world-class medical care and constantly moving forward to improve the quality of care offered in service to our nation.
Sound attention! Sound commanders in color, center, march!
As the regimental system developed, units were assigned a specific color or number for their regimental colors. This was done to aid in the identification of units and their positions on the battlefield. Their position at the front and center of the formation provided a point for the unit to dress on during parades and rally to during battle.
Present arms! Detachment, present arms!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Sound on your arms and parade rest!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We will now observe the Assumption of Command. The Assumption of Command is an event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. The focus of the ceremony is the passing of the unit's colors. The colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority and represent her responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. Today, the United States Army Medical Command's Command Sergeant Major Gerald C. Ecker, the custodian of the colors, will pass the colors to Major General Steve Jones. Major General Jones passes the colors to General Daniel B. Allen, the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. General Allen then passes the colors, and hence the command, to the commander, Lieutenant General Nadja Y. West. This time-honored process is complete when the commander passes the colors back to the Command Sergeant Major, charging him with maintaining the symbol of the command. By authority of paragraph 2-5, Army Regulation 600-20, the undersigned assumes command of the United States Army Medical Command effective 11 December 2015. Signed, Nadja Y. West, Lieutenant General, U.S. Army, commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, General Daniel B. Allen.
All right, if you guys knew how cold it was in Washington, D.C., your cheer would have been a heck of a lot louder than that one was. Well, good afternoon to all of our distinguished guests, and most importantly, soldiers and civilians that make the Surgeon General's office and the United States Army Medical Command all that it is for our great Army. I'm glad to be back in San Antonio, Texas, especially after the snow we just experienced in Washington, D.C. a short couple weeks ago. I'm told by the National Weather Service the last time San Antonio had a blizzard, it was about 30 years ago. And the blizzard was defined by 13.5 inches of snow. Well, I like those numbers better than the double that we experienced. My back is still recovering. So thanks for inviting me down to Joint Base San Antonio for today's ceremony and to thaw out in the beautiful state of Texas. Regardless of the weather, any day I spend outside of the Beltway with soldiers and Army civilians is awesome and certainly morale sustaining. So thanks for allowing me to be here with you. Lieutenant General West, I want to offer a special welcome to your entire family, to Don, your husband of 26 years, and to your children, Sydney and Logan. Like so many other leaders in our Army today, Nadja West comes from a great lineage of service to our nation. And in fact, the West family is a veritable joint force. Nadja's father, Oscar, retired from the Army as a Chief Warrant Officer 4 after 33 years of service. And her mom, Mabel, served over 20 years as a volunteer for Army Community Services. Nadja's 4 brothers all served in the Army, one retiring as a sergeant major. 3 of her sisters served in the Army. Another sister retired from the Air Force as a master sergeant, and yet another sister retired after 31 years of service in the Navy. To top it all off, Don and Nadja's son, Logan, is now a plebe at West Point, determined to carry on the family business. Now, as the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, I have been a part of many ceremonies. And throughout my career, I've met countless amazing Army families. But the West family may just take the cake. A mother and father committed to a lifetime of service, and 10 of their 12 children choosing to serve their country in uniform. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about selfless service, when we talk about selfless service in our Army values, and when we talk about choosing to serve rather than to be served, this example sets an amazing standard. So please join me, since you jumped the gun, in another round of applause for this incredible family. I'd like to begin today by sharing the story of an Army Ranger, wounded just a few short weeks ago in eastern Afghanistan. His story is not only a testament to the bravery and skill of our Army Rangers, but to the amazing passion, creativity, and skill of Army medical professionals. Wounded on the objective of a high-value target, this sergeant, already the veteran of 3 deployments, was shot twice, just above his ballistic plates. One bullet passing through his thorax, the other striking his shoulder. Immediately, the Ranger medic team performed life-saving first aid, controlling his bleeding and administering freeze-dried plasma, a cutting-edge product used under Special Operations Command's Investigational New Drug Initiative. After a difficult exfil, flight medics aboard the MH-47 continued to stabilize Ranger Campbell. Using ultrasound in flight, identified another wound causing heavy bleeding. After a tail-to-tail swap, a flight surgeon inserted 2 chest tubes And after Ranger Campbell went into traumatic arrest from loss of blood, he performed a thoracotomy, opening his entire left chest, again on an MH-47, identifying a hemorrhage in his lung and surgically correcting it. After 4 minutes of traumatic arrest, Ranger Campbell regained his breathing and stabilized. He was flown to Bagram, stabilized further, and then transferred directly to Walter Reed, where I had the honor of meeting him as he left the intensive care unit. This Ranger's story is amazing. There is not another Army on the face of this planet that provides the same level of medical care to its warriors as ours does. And as I spoke with his father and his younger sister, the thanks I saw in their eyes is as strong a tribute to the doctors, nurses, clinicians, and technicians who aided this great young American, and proof that Army medicine changes lives. But you don't have to take my word for it. These are the words of his commander, and I quote, "This is a Ranger who is alive today thanks to the incredible teamwork and precision skill of all the medical team working on him that night. This is the most impressive casualty save I have ever heard of in a combat theater," end of quote. And I second that emotion. So as we share a few moments together today, I want you to keep this Army Ranger story in the forefront of your mind. Soldiers like him are the reason we are gathered here today, and why we all come to work each and every day with a passion to serve. After more than 14 years of continuous combat, it's tempting to hope that a breather is just over the horizon. But we all understand that persistent instability in an uncertain world requires our Army to go wherever our nation asks, whenever our nation calls. That's why today our Army has over 187,000 soldiers supporting combatant commanders in over 140 countries. These soldiers, like the great young Ranger I talked about, are on point for the nation, and they are depending on the competence, commitment, and character of everyone gathered on this field to ensure they and their families continue to receive the best care this world can offer. Few organizations in our Army deliver such direct effects for our soldiers and their families as Army Medical Command and the Office of the Surgeon General. Everyone gathered here today should take great pride in this knowledge and carry it as a solemn obligation. Today we have an inspiring leader prepared to lead this remarkable organization forward. Lieutenant General Nadja West is no stranger to challenge and has proven by repeated success as a leader of vision, clarity, and commitment throughout her career of service in Army medicine. From her days as a family practice resident at the home of the infantry in Fort Benning, Georgia, to her roles as field surgeon in Desert Storm and division surgeon in Kosovo, to her leadership as the commander of Womack Army Medical Center at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Nadja has displayed decisive leadership at every echelon of Army medicine. And in her role as commander of Womack Army Medical Center, I personally witnessed the daily impact of her leadership, tenacity, and compassion as her team delivered world-class health care to the more than 200,000 soldiers, joint service members, retirees, and family members in the greater Fort Bragg military community. Following that assignment as the Joint Staff Surgeon in 2014, General West helped craft the Department of Defense's response to the West African Ebola crisis. In this role, her unique ability to build consensus across diverse organizations was essential in ensuring the United States military response supported the needs of the U.S. Agency for International Development, the World Health Organization, and the Liberian government. As a direct result of Nadja's leadership, members of the Army-led Joint Task Force deployed rapidly fully prepared to safely work alongside host nation personnel staffing the Ebola treatment units. More than that, General West ensured our homeland was protected, leading the creation of a brand new capability in the Department of Defense, a 30-member infectious disease augmentation team attached to NORTHCOM to support civilian treatment facilities in the United States in the event of an Ebola outbreak here on the homeland. This is a decisive leadership example, and it is the decisive leadership our Army depends on as we continue to operate in a complex and uncertain world. And I'm confident that Lieutenant General West will help drive Army medicine forward. Now, one of the strengths of our Army is our deep bench of experienced leaders. And for the past 2 months, we've been blessed to have Major General Steve Jones leading this command. With Steve's leadership guiding the organization through this time of transition, Army Medical Command has not missed a beat. Steve, thanks for what you have done, but more importantly, thanks for what you will continue to do serving our great Army and great nation. You're not done just yet. To the entire Army Medical Command team, as you return to work today and every day, I ask that you keep the life of our young Army Ranger whose story I shared and the hundreds of thousands of soldiers he represents in the forefront of your minds and your actions. Your efforts each and every day are fundamental to maintaining the readiness, resilience, and trust of our soldiers and our families. Yours is a sacred calling. So on behalf of a grateful Army and a grateful nation, thanks for all that you have done and all that you will do in service to our Army and our nation. God bless you all, and Army strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of the United States Army Medical Command and the Army's 44th Surgeon General, Lieutenant General Nadja Y. West.
Well, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, to say it is a distinct honor and pleasure for me to be here today is probably the understatement of the century. As I look across the field, I'm inspired by the magnificent soldiers in the formation and what they represent. Sir General Allen, that story that you told us about Ranger Campbell, these soldiers here represent those who are training and will go forward and take care of your Ranger. And I tell you, you have my commitment that we're sending you only the best. Please give a round of applause for our soldiers in formation. General Allen, thank you for presiding over the ceremony. As you mentioned before, what things that are going on around the globe, if you just glance at the news summary every morning, all those highlights of what's going on in different areas in every AOR that every COCOM is in, there's something interesting going on. And all those things that require your attention and engagement, the fact that you're able to carve out time and spend time here to officiate over this ceremony, sir, I'm eternally grateful for that, for taking your time out of your schedule to be here today. Thank you, sir. To the distinguished guests here today, thank you also for taking time out to share this time with me and my family and to make it such a special event. To the 323rd Army Band, Fort Sam's own, you sound superb. I tell you, I can't watch you and listen to you without getting extremely motivated. And if you're not motivated when you hear them and watch them sound off, then you probably don't have a pulse. So please give me a round of applause for our wonderful band. And before I continue, I must thank my predecessor, Lieutenant General Patty Horoho, for all that she accomplished during her tenure as Commanding General of the United States Army Medical Command and Surgeon General. She truly set a high bar for me. And I'd like to thank her for her efforts, all of her enduring contributions that she led to the betterment of our wellness all throughout the Army till now it's incorporated into the fabric of what we do. It's not just a medical program, it's an Army program. And when I heard General Dempsey on the Joint Staff talking about the performance triad, I had to smile because she penetrated all the way up to the Joint Staff and throughout our entire military. So for that, I want to thank her for her contributions. As our Navy shipmates would say, I wish Patty and Ray fair winds and following seas. I know they're back in D.C. Working through moving. I know that I've talked to her the other day, and they're packing out of their quarters. So again, much thanks to them. And Steve, thanks so much for keeping the seat warm, and not only just keeping it warm, but moving things forward as we were going through this transition. Thank you for all that you've done. And I would also like to thank my extended family, and I won't go into the details. I think, General Allen, I appreciate you highlighting the contributions of my parents and my brothers and sisters, and those who aren't here today with us, for being with me all throughout my life, throughout my military career, setting the example for me and grounding me in values from an early age. My father was teaching us Army values long before we were wearing them on our name tags back when our Chief of Staff of the Army at the time had us all remember what our Army values are and had us place that, when it was General Reimer, place it on our dog tags. My parents were teaching me that when I was old enough to understand and learn what values were. And as we all know that the strength of our Army is our soldiers, and I truly can tell you, for me, the strength of me, my strength comes from my family. And without them, this day would not have been possible. Now, one of my mentors, General Carter Ham, when he was the commander of U.S. Army Africa Command, used to say, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Now, he did not take credit for this saying because it's an African proverb that's been around for a while, but he does get credit in my mind for often identifying that this really speaks volumes to how we can get things done in this complex and uncertain environment that you heard General Allen talk about previously. That was certainly the hallmark of his AOR, and it's the hallmark of more and more of those around the globe now. If you want to go fast, you can go fast. You can only go as fast as your individual abilities can take you. But if we want to go far, we have to go as a team. The collective strength of our individual abilities is what allows us to achieve gains greater than any one individual can achieve alone. The story that General Allen shared with us about Ranger Campbell showed that teamwork. When he mentioned every echelon along the way, all the different research that went into that, the training, the practice of all of our crafts to get to the point where we can have a seamless handoff from one to the other. It didn't happen by chance, and it didn't happen by individuals. It was teams working together to achieve that wonderful success. And my being here today is a testament to that fact. And it's a reflection of those that I've gone far together with over the past years. And there's too many to name today, way too many. I did briefly touch on them at a ceremony in D.C. Yesterday. I'm trying to think of what day it is. It's Wednesday. I'm here in San Antonio. But the ceremony is not about me, it's about them. It's about all of those thousands upon thousands that have influenced me, influenced my life, have worked with me, have trained me all throughout. It's about them. It's about you. It's not about me. Now, those who know me know that my faith is central to who I am, and I must thank God for all of his blessings, all those I've received throughout my life. Pope John Paul II remarked once that there's no such thing as coincidence, only aspects of God's providence that we have not yet fully understood. And this has certainly been true in my journey to this point, and I'm sure it will continue to manifest as we move forward together. I've been given a unique and solemn opportunity, and Sir General Allen, I thank you for your confidence in me to take this command of these wonderful team of professionals. And as I reflect on what it means to have become selected as commanding general of Medcom, my thoughts go back to our chief's initial message to the force. As General Milley says, and was just demonstrated by our vice chief, our fundamental task is like no other. It is to win in the unforgiving crucible of ground combat. Now, Medcom as a supporting unit, of course, does not win wars. I understand this. We are, however, a critical enabler to ensure our Army achieves this end. Our nation's mothers and fathers know that when their sons or daughters become ill or injured, we are there. You heard that example with Ranger Campbell. We are there. We are ready. And this gives them the confidence to send them into harm's way and to win our nation's war if called to. This is truly a sacred trust, and our readiness to support the warfighter will never, can never be in doubt. Our nation truly has a priceless gem in our Army Medical Department. The quality of care and capabilities we collectively provide in all disciplines and occupational specialties to all entrusted to our care, our service members, our families, our retired service members. It's unmatched and will continue to be the shining example our nation has come to rely upon and to expect. This is my azimuth as the Commanding General of Medcom. And General Allen, you have my word. You have the word of all of those soldiers out there, all those commanders out there, and everyone in the stands. You have my word, sir, that we will never fail. This is a no-fail mission. We will not fail. And when I have these professionals around me, we will always be there and meet the mark. So in closing, I would like to thank first my children, Sydney and Logan, for being here, being the greatest, most resilient kids in the world. I'm so very proud of the wonderful young people you have become. And finally, to Don, my husband, my partner, my faithful friend, my sturdy shelter, thank you for all of your love and support over these past 27 plus years. In you, I have truly found a treasure. So as a soldier for life, it is a distinct honor and privilege to continue to serve with you. Thank you all again for being here today. Now let's get back to it. We have an Army and a nation to support, and we have far to go together. Army strong.
Sound attention!
Army Medical Command staff, led by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Colonel Clinton W. Schreckheis of San Antonio, Texas. The staff consists of the Medcom G1, Colonel Linda R. Carmen of Houston, Texas, the Medcom G3, Colonel Heather A. Kness of Troy, New York, the Medcom G4, Colonel Tony R. Nesbitt of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Medcom G6, Colonel Beverly A. Beavers of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the 323rd Army Band, led by Chief Warrant Officer 4, Thomas Hager. The drum major for today's ceremony is First Sergeant Eric Bisora. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Headquarters and Headquarters Company, U.S. Army Medical Command, commanded by Captain Darrell Hopkins of Denton, North Carolina, and First Sergeant Lorena Delane of Rio Abajo, Republic of Panama. The Headquarters and Headquarters Company provides administrative and logistical support for soldiers and civilians assigned to the one staff at Joint Base San Antonio and the National Capital Region. Ladies and gentlemen, the tip of the spear for Army Medicine, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, U.S. Army Medical Command. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Atlantic Provisional, commanded by Brigadier General Ronald J. Place of Huron, South Dakota, and Command Sergeant Major John Steed of Richmond, Virginia. Regional Health Command Atlantic Provisional is the nation's premier military system for health, focused on patients' wellness, dedicated to preventing illness and injury, and enabling ready and resilient soldiers, families, and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Regional Health Command Atlantic Provisional. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Central Provisional, commanded by Major General Thomas R. Temple II of Jacksonville, North Carolina, and is being led today by Colonel John P. Lamoureux of West Hartford, Connecticut, and Command Sergeant Major Jamie D. Johnson of Aurora, Missouri. The Central Command provides responsive, innovative, and reliable health services and influences health to improve readiness, save lives, and advance wellness in support of the force, military families, and all those entrusted to their care. Ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Health Command Central Provisional. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Europe Provisional, commanded by Brigadier General Van Coots of Richmond, Virginia, and Command Sergeant Major William Buck O'Neill of Lawrenceville, Georgia. The European Command provides world-class health care to all they are privileged to serve, while remaining trained and ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Health Command Europe, Rocky, strong Europe, strong medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the passing of the national colors and render appropriate honors. The color guard is led by the Medcom Command Sergeant Major Gerald C. Ecker of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Pacific Provisional, commanded by Brigadier General Patrick D. Sargent of Panama City, Florida, and Command Sergeant Major Robert C. Luciano of Beaufort, South Carolina. Today, Command Sergeant Major Tabitha A. Gavia of Virginia Beach, Virginia, is representing Command Sergeant Major Luciano. The Pacific Command provides patient-centered, outcomes-based health care and drives the transformation to a system for health for forces and families in the Pacific region. Ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Health Command Pacific, Nakoa Imua, meaning warriors go forth. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the U.S. Army Medical Research and Materiel Command, commanded by Major General Brian Line of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Command Sergeant Major David Rogers of Seattle, Washington. The Medical Research and Materiel Command is the United States Army's medical material developer, with responsibility for medical research, development, acquisition, and medical logistics management. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Army Medical Research and Materiel Command. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School, U.S. Army Health Readiness Center of Excellence. The U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School is commanded by Major General Steve Jones and is led today by Colonel Wendy Harder of San Diego, California, and Command Sergeant Major Andrew Rhodes. The center is where the Army Medical Department formulates its medical organization, tactics, doctrine, and equipment. The school is where the Army educates and trains all of its medical personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School, U.S. Army Health Readiness Center of Excellence. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the Warrior Transition Command, commanded by Colonel Chris R. Toner of Topeka, Kansas, and Command Sergeant Major Matthew T. Brady of Rapid City, South Dakota. The command's mission is to develop, coordinate, and integrate the Army's Warrior Care and Transition Program for wounded, ill, and injured soldiers, veterans, and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, the Warrior Transition Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army Song. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
And this concludes today's ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. You are invited to come forward to welcome Lieutenant General West and her family at the center of the pavilion. Please form the receiving line from their right. Thank you for your support and attendance. Serving to heal, honored to serve.